Well, welcome to Postcards, everybody. I'm your host, Jenny Van West, coming to you live from the Postcard studio where it's always 70 and sunny, and today is no different. And outside, it's kind of gloomy. I can see my favorite white pine tree right out my window. It's raining. It's kind of breezy. I love this weather. But right in here, it's all sunshine and roses, and we're just going to have a good old time. We got a great guest today. Eric Stone is joining us from Florida, world traveler, singer, songwriter, island Eric and novelist. We've got a lot to talk about. So anyway, let's just get to it, shall we, with the guitar. When you're down and you're blue and you don't know what to do, just write a postcard. When you're feeling fine and there's something on your mind, just write a postcard. Don't you know Grandma loves this show? She listens every time. You don't need a reason. You don't need a rhyme to write a postcard to P.O. Box 1252. Just write a postcard. 04098. Just write a postcard to Westbrook, Maine, 'cause Grandma loves this show. Well, goodness gracious me. Welcome to Postcards, everybody. I'm so happy to see you all here. As I said before, I'm Jenny Van West, coming to you live from the Postcard studio, and we are super excited to have with us today Eric Stone, coming in live from Florida. Before he heads out on the road, God knows where, we're going to find out all about that. Couple little housekeeping things. If you want to write to us, we'll read it on the air on Mondays. P.O. Box 1252, Westbrook, Maine, 04098. It's super simple. You just finish that box of cereal, cut out a piece that looks about the size of a postcard, put an address on there, a little message. You can write to Grandma. You know, Grandma writes to us, so you can write to Grandma, ask her questions. She's got great advice and nothing to do this winter but tend the sheep and, keep track of things on the wireless. So send us a postcard, P.O. Box 1252, Westbrook, Maine, 04098. And let's see, we got a comment already. Good morning, Diana Lynn Ennis. Greetings from the heartland. Back at you, my dear friend, my new friend. We had a great time a couple weeks ago. So, yes, and it's all good all the time here at Postcards. So, couple other things. One is if you, let's see. Let me just do this. Eric, if you can send me another little message there. I can't quite understand what you're talking about. Sorry. I'm being adult, basically. So, let's see. Couple things. What am I trying to say? Oh, yes, we got a couple quick housekeeping things. If you were looking for a vaccine, all right, we've got another little round of that going on. I don't want to focus on it too heavily, but if you need vaccine info, vaccines.gov, get vaccinated. If you're not, that's my encouragement to you, because most of the people being hospitalized right now have not been vaccinated. So that being said, let's see. Oh yeah, you've never been to Maine? Well, it's about time now. You got to check that one off your list. And good morning to you, Diggy Cat. So let's see here. And okay, so without further ado, we're taking a look at Eric Stone's music, what he's been up to, where he's going, and all kinds of whatnot. So Eric, if you're ready, I'm just going to bring you on in.
Hello.
Well, hey there. How you doing this morning?
Great.
Great to have you here.
Yes. Good morning. Coffee time.
Good morning. I'm so glad we caught you at home, because when I started to read up on you, I was like, oh my God, where's he going to be calling in from? Fiji, Borneo, Australia, New Zealand, Norway, anywhere where people have water and boats and stuff. You have probably been. Am I right?
Yeah, I have. I've toured some crazy places. I've been to Australia, New Zealand, lots of places in the South Pacific. Of course, Europe, and almost every state, if not every state in the Union. I played in Maine once.
All right, cool. Where'd you play in Maine? Do you remember? Was it a boat?
No, it was a resort, and it was on a real high cliff. That's all I remember. It was a weird long name of the town. I don't know if that helps you out any, but
No, I'm telling you, I've lived here for almost 17 years, and I still find out about places in Maine I've never heard about.
All I remember is a big, beautiful resort, and it had a giant cliff that you don't want to fall off of.
Okay, well, I'll keep that in mind when I come across it.
Yeah, and that was the first place I ever tried bacon wrapped scallops, and now I've been addicted for 20 years since then.
Now we're talking. Yeah, bacon wrapped scallops. Yeah, good on you. So, just to give, I'm just getting familiar with you. I mean, this is the first time we've met, and I just got to get a sort of a quick intel on who you are and what you do. But as you've been saying, you have you have a couple niches you inhabit that are really big. I mean, you do boat shows, you do you tour island countries. So these places where the water and the land meet seem to be your spots. So how did you get into touring in this way and this kind of these kinds of niches?
Well, it's a long story, but I'll make it as short and sweet as I can. So basically, I lived in Hawaii for a while. I used to work for Northwest Airlines and surf every morning. And I started writing these songs on my ukulele, and I was, of course, inspired to write islandy type songs. I drove cross country in my truck, and I shipped it on an airplane over there and picked it up when I got there. And all the way across country, I listened to a Jimmy Buffett 4-disc CD set when it came out, Boats, Beaches, Bars, and Ballads. I don't know if you remember that, and I didn't really know the Buffett except for Margaritaville. And after that, I was like, this guy's a great songwriter. And I just kind of started leaning in that direction, storytelling, islandy vibes. And I always was sailor and all that stuff. And so I learned all these songs on ukulele. And then I wrote a bunch of tunes over there. And I came back to the States, moved to Tennessee, moved to Nashville, and started cutting these kind of songs. I was like pre-Kenny Chesney. So, he did this stuff way after me. But I was ahead of him as far as that goes. But I never really wanted to be a true artist because I like my privacy too much, but just wanted to be a songwriter. And kind of got frustrated in Nashville. And my buddy says, you need to just take 10 of your best songs and go out on the road for 6 months because you're getting burned out on this Nashville buddy system. I said, yeah, I know. So I did go on tour. It was supposed to be just 6 months. And then 20-something years later, I'm still on the road. And I cut 14 more albums after that first record. And I got another one coming out. But it just all is a whirlwind. Honestly, it just seems like so recently I left the studio and said, all right, I'm going to go do this for 6 months.
I did that once. And guess where I ended up.
Right. And the funny thing is the way I got in the boat shows, it's just one of those things that just never, ever works usually. So I tell people that'll never work, but it did work. I sent an email to a guy named Kevin Murphy at one of the big boat shows. And I said, I love your boat show. The only thing it's missing is music. And I can be that guy for you. Little did I know they already had music at the boat shows. He didn't know who I was, but he read through my BS right away. And he says, well, I'd like to give you a try. And the next thing you know, he flew me to Chicago, and I went up there and I played the Chicago boat show. And he liked it so much. He says, would you like to do this at every show? Miami's next. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the plan. So that was in 1999. And I've done every boat show, every international big giant boat show since then.
Yeah.
Probably 6 to 8 a year. And there used to be more, and some have closed and new ones have opened up, but it's a great place. Island music and boats and sailing and all that stuff. It just kind of goes together.
Yeah, totally. And what's that like? I mean, when you play a boat show, are you playing for 6 hours? I mean, what's that like? How's that work?
It's like your fingers hurt because it is literally 6 hours. You nailed it when I said that, but it's not 6 hours straight. I do take breaks, and I mean, I don't complain about it because I sell so much merchandise, and I've made so many friends, and there's no way I would ever complain about the boat show.
No. I wasn't expecting you to. Because I'm just like, as soon as you said that, I was like, that sounds like a dream for, someone like yourself, That's
long hours, you guys got to make the best of those long hours, and you talk to so many people, and it ends up being a lot of fun.
Yeah, totally. Well, I know you got a guitar or two lying around there. You got a song that you'd like to share right off the top?
Sure. As we talked about earlier, I kind of cut my finger. I won't show it because it's kind of gross, but I cut my thumb pretty bad.
Look at that after. I'm always into that kind of stuff. I'm a mom,
Okay.
I want all the details.
I cut it on one of those food slashers, those mandolins. So it was the wrong kind of mandolin to be playing.
Yeah. You got to watch out for those things.
Yes, and I'll never use it again, ever. Actually, I already boxed it up and it's going back to Target. And because of Black Friday, I ordered one of those big mixers, that has all the adapters, KitchenAid.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put a food slasher on that and keep my hands way the hell away from it.
Yeah, I guess so. Wow. Well, I'm glad you're all right. I'm glad you're going to recover from that because
As we see, I got a bunch of picks laying on my desk here. So if I throw one, because it's hard to hold, I'll just grab another one real fast. So,
as we talked about in the green room, what we do in Maine, if it's moving and it shouldn't, you put duct tape on it. So there's my medical advice to you.
I may duct tape it before the end of the show.
All right.
So, do you want me to tell you about the song or just play it?
Yeah, that would be great. Tell us what you're going to play and little backstory, and then let's do it.
Okay, so this first song is called "Permanently Temporary," and this goes back to my airline days. The title. My wife and I used to work for Northwest Airlines. We were both with the airlines, which is not a good idea if you both work for the airlines, because if things slow down, you're both out of a job. So. Anyway, we kept getting bumped because it was right after the Gulf War, and the airlines business got crazy. So we kept getting bumped from station to station. So we get like a 3-month temporary assignment in Honolulu, a 3-month temporary assignment in Los Angeles, Memphis. And I was like, are we ever going to get a permanent position? Because I'm tired of moving. And I said, I swear to God, we're permanently temporary. Because we literally every 3 months we had to move and take my motorhome and go live and work. I mean, it was fun, but it's like at some point you want to kind of plant roots a little bit. And I don't know, I just took that idea and I wrote about kind of a semi-biography about my touring and my lifestyle of being on the road all the time, so to speak. And a little backstory about a guy I met that had retired and he never really got to follow his dreams. So anyway, that's about it. It's called Permanently Temporary. I was born and raised on the Texas coast, not far from Galveston Bay, where I daydreamed of exotic places, knew I could go to one day. I left Beaumont, lined in speed, day I turned 21. Voyage of discovery, time to have me some fun. I explored the beaches down in Florida, surfed the waves on Oahu's North Shore, spent time in Nashville on Music Row, learned to write songs and tour. I sailed the Lost Soul, Redondo Beach, made Australia my second home. Soon I will see Serengeti and the Colosseum in Rome. Permanently temporary, here for a little while. Definitely extraordinary, loving every mile. Always underway to the very last day. Never stationary. Enjoy life before it passes you by. This is permanently temporary. I knew a man used to say he wanted to live on a boat. Took his time, then woke up one day, realized he was old. Waited too long to live out his dreams, sail the 7 seas. Now he's in an old folks home in a rocking chair, watching America's Cup on TV. Oh, permanently temporary, here for a little while. Definitely extraordinary, loving every new mile. Always underway to the very last day. Never stationary. Enjoy life before it passes you by. This is permanently temporary. Each new day is a gift from God. I won't take it in stride. If I wake up tomorrow, I'll get up and say, this is the first day of the rest of my life. Oh, permanently temporary, here for a little while. Definitely extraordinary, loving every new mile. Always underway to the very last day. Never stationary. Enjoy life or it passes you by. This is permanently temporary. And I kept it.
All right. Eric Stone here on Postcards. That's where we are today. Postcards. Awesome, man. Awesome. You know, I had a lot of thoughts and feelings while you were playing that. And one of the things that I thought about was like how, you know, you've been doing these, this traveling with boat shows and this heavy tour thing since 1999. And I bet there's a lot of people, you know, you said you made so many friends. I noticed, actually, I pulled this up while you were singing. You've got 40,000 people in your Facebook fan club. Yeah, and you're probably going to pick up a couple more today. I was thinking there must be so many people who look forward to seeing, oops, sorry, I mean to leave that up. So many people who look forward to seeing you every time. You must get this huge welcome every time you walk into one of those things.
It's a wonderful job, let's put it that way. I don't feel like it's a job, but you got to treat it that way. It's not a hobby, but you know, you go to place. It's funny because a little side story real quick. I opened a bar in the Keys, a restaurant and bar. And I experienced some dark times after that because I'd never experienced like negativity. So, you know, when you own a restaurant and a bar, you can't please everybody. I learned that right away. Everybody's got a complaint.
I'm sure.
That industry. It's like the food was too hot, the food was too cold, this drink is too weak, it's too strong, blah, 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 blah. It's all personal. And I got kind of depressed for a while. And I was like, I'm not used to this, man. I go to places and everybody open arms and loves me and giving me gifts and, you know, I'm their best friend and all that. And now I'm like getting all these negative comments on Yelp and shit. I'm like, stuff.
That's okay. PG-11. We're shooting for PG-11, but you're cool. You're cool.
Like I'm glad I experienced it and I learned how to deal with negativity. But at first I didn't know what to do. It was so freaking weird, really.
Yeah. Now, did you continue to do that, or did you let it go?
We ran the business for 3 years. It was very successful, and the only reason I didn't continue it is because the property, I was supposed to buy the property and they wanted to jack up the price because we were doing so well. And it just, my investors, you know, these guys they're not good people. We're getting out of there. So we closed it up. It was a good run.
Yep. And totally.
Music venue with food and beverage. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. No, I've opened and closed businesses before, and it can be kind of like a bit of a heartbreaker, you know, because you pour your whole soul into a place like that. I imagine. I've never run a restaurant before. No. I've run other kind of businesses that took everything from me and gave me a lot in return. But I hear what you're saying, and you know, you brought up the point of privacy earlier. You know, you're a very public guy in a sense, right? Yeah. Because you're out there, you're going all these places. But you know, I love what you said about privacy and trying to find these. You know, it sounds like you've had some doors open for you that like had all the sort of like angels singing and the red carpet and the whole thing, like over here, you know, like do this, you're going to be so happy over here. And it's worked out. But that gives me a roundabout sort of a way to talking about you are also a novelist, and tell us a little bit, maybe a bit about, you know, where your writing life began, because people don't just all of a sudden drop 3 novels. Maybe you could share a little bit about that journey with us.
Well, it started when I lived in Hawaii. I wrote a novel back then, and I was, you know, green and wet behind the ears, didn't know it, and there was no Amazon back then, so it's almost a blessing that it didn't come to fruition. But I wrote it, and then I was trying to save it on an external hard drive, you know, backup, and somehow I bumped the hard drive during the transfer, and all my words became question marks. So 65,000 words disappeared from my novel, gone in an instant. And I tried to get them back. I took it places, and nobody could figure it. It's gone. It's done. And I didn't write again for 20 years. I was disgusted.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you do that? It's like horrible.
Yeah.
So, and it goes back to my restaurant. I was running at my restaurant and had Sunday night jam, which is an open mic. And a guy named Wayne Stinnett, who's a very successful novelist on Amazon, amazing guy. He asked me, he called me up and says, "Hey, can I do a book signing?" His first ever book signing. I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'll set you up a table and, you know, get you some food, and you just set up your books a couple hours before we play, and then you can watch the band play." And I got to know him really well. And I told him my story I just told you. And he says, "You should just write another one." And I'm like, "I don't know, man." He goes, I'd like to help you. I'll mentor you. And I'm like, so we kept talking, and he became my biggest mentor, and he showed me the business. And I was like, wow, I realized then it's a miracle that I didn't launch that book, because that would never got published back then. I didn't know about editors and formatting, and, you know, there was no Amazon. So thanks to Wayne, I wrote one, and he says, "You won't make any money. It'll cost you a fortune." I said, "Okay." But I had a fan base already, so I did make some money. And he said that was good, you know, because he didn't have that when he started. And I just kept writing, and now I'm launching one every 3 months. That's my goal for 2022, and I'm right on schedule right now. And you know, one a quarter basically.
Wow. Yeah.
I had some family issues, and when I first launched my first book, and it took me a while to get number 2 and 3 out, but they're flying out now, so everything's on track.
Boy, that's amazing. I wish you all the best with that. And I'm super excited to read the first one. I have to tell you a secret though. I have lived in all these sailing. Oh, there we go. Blue Waters. It's Rick Waters is the name of the series, right?
That's the main character.
Yeah. And you just, you got a new one that's just, I posted the link in the comments. There's a new one that just came out. So y'all can buy all 3 and gorge yourself over the winter. And that's my advice. That's my advice. I'm looking forward.
I'd like to add too that if you don't, you know, some people don't like to read, or they're busy and they travel a lot like me. And so I absorb most of my books through audiobooks.
Yep.
And I do have one of the greatest audiobook readers, the narrator of all time. His name's Nick Sullivan, and he does all my books. He does the characters in different voices. It's like you're listening to a play. He's a Broadway actor, and it's
awesome.
You can read the book and get whatever you want out of it, but once you hear Nick read it, it's like, oh my God, it's like I just saw a movie go by, you know?
Awesome. So where can people find those audiobooks?
Oh, it's on Audible. Just search my name.
Okay, Audible.
Yep.
Audible.com, people. That's awesome. That's great. And yeah, that makes a ton of sense too, because I can't imagine you going to all these various places and hauling 6 suitcases full of printed books. That's just not going to happen.
I generally bring, and of course, you know, the more and more books I get, it's going to be more difficult. But I generally like to do the boat shows. I bring like 20 of each book. So 40. That's 2 cases, right?
Yeah.
You want to get 3? Okay, that's 60. Now we're getting to where I have to leave a speaker behind. Something's going to have to give, or get a trailer, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I worked in publishing.
You know, they like.
What's that? I'm sorry, I missed that.
So no, so people want them autographed. So that's the beauty of the merch. You know, it's like, you know, people love Kindle, and audiobooks, but people want to have a physical copy. They love the smell. My mom used to say that I love the smell and the feel of a book. I'm like, okay, there you go.
Yeah, gotta have some printed books for people. I used to work in publishing, and I love everything you're saying, because I have a couple crates of books from 20 years ago that are up in the attic, and I'm hanging on to them because they're like, you know, I don't want to get rid of those 40 copies of that book. You know, it's like, you know, but at the same time, you know, anyway, If you're just joining us, welcome to Postcards. We were talking with the very amazing Eric Stone, singer, songwriter, island traveler extraordinaire, been all over the world with his music. He's a novelist. We have I want to read some comments to you, and then maybe let's do another song if you're down. Couple comments. Looks you got one here. I just bought the pre-order of the new book. There you go.
That's my buddy from Norway, Vibjorn.
Vebjorn, shout out to Norway. Actually, I think this is the first time we've had a Norwegian listener. This is awesome. Shout out to you. Like, keep in touch, Vebjorn, and awesome. And
he's a great artist too, by the way. He's got some stuff on Spotify.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. I will check that out. That's awesome. Emily Hanson, of course, is in the house. We've got we've got a couple messages here. We've got a couple people who won't come to Maine in the winter. Diggy Cat, yeah, we got you, man. And then we got a couple of, let's see, who else we got? Oh, it looks like guys are caught up on comments. Well, that's lovely. It's lovely. So so let's see. I think the next thing, when I start to trip over myself, that means it's time for more music. You down?
Okay, I can do that.
All right. Tell us what you got next.
I have no idea. I have no.
That's great.
I don't really have a set list going here, but we'll play one. You know what I think I'll do is in the first song I wrote about, I sailed the Lost Soul in Redondo Beach. That was one of the lyrics in the first song, and the Lost Soul is a 58-foot catch owned by a guy named Bob Bitchin, who owns Latitudes and Attitudes Sailing Magazine.
Oh yes, okay.
And
right.
We became friends on we became friends at the first boat show at Chicago, and he put my first CD in his magazine. And when my second CD came out, he said, "Hey, before you finish that record, can you write a song about my boat, the Lost Soul?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I could do that." Awesome. So he gave me a DVD he has a big famous DVD about sailing around the world, and I watched the DVD. And at this point, I hadn't even been on the boat yet. But I ended up sailing across to Catalina over 100 times probably over the years. And I wrote this tune called The Legend of the Lost Soul, which became the title track of the the second CD. So you just never know. And Bob loves this song. When I played it for him the very first time, it was a big 400-pound biker covered in tattoos. He cranked it up in his truck and tears started rolling down his cheek. I'm like, "Oh, I got him. I got him."
You got him. You got him. And then you know you're good, right?
Yep.
All right.
So I'll do that right now. Legend of the Lost Soul. He's a rider, an outsider, American outlaw biker. Came from out west, with ink on his chest and a dream. But his lifestyle has changed now. Rail to rail, stern to bow. He left the highway, take to the sea. Seeing the world from port to port, circumnavigation of a different sort. Wherever the trade winds blow, lives the legend of the lost soul. She was stranded, abandoned, took her single-handed. As he raised the mainsail, she cast all his worries aside. He detailed her, veiled her, 50,000 miles he sailed her. Life is a journey, together they enjoy the ride. Don't dream your life, live your dream. Don't be afraid to swim upstream. Adventure can make you whole, like the legend of the lost soul. Can't recommend decadence as a way of life. It's work for him, so high on the mast, Jolly Roger flies. Skull and crossbones, different time zones, mystery still unknown. Attitudes can change, new latitudes are crossed. Celebration, creation, stench of civilization. Turn back the hands of time before innocence was lost. Like a treasure chest on an ancient chart, X marks the spot where you'll find your heart. Let the pirate inside you grow, like the legend of the lost soul. Wherever the trade winds blow, lives the legend of the lost soul.
Yeah, Eric Stone here on Postcards. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. It's the pirate's life for me, man.
All right.
I'm sold. I'm sold. I have to tell you, listening to that, I've lived in numerous sailing meccas: Port Townsend, Washington, the Eastern Shore of Maryland, St. Michael's. I don't know if you've ever been to St. Michael's. Yeah, it's a sweet little spot. Probably not a trade show there, but sweet little sailing mecca. It's been there for a long time. Beautiful little historic town where my parents used to live, and then Portland, Maine. But I'm a terrible sailor. All I want to do is ride along. I don't want any responsibility. Like maybe just steering. Like don't put me don't put me in charge. So I just love that. Like I love hearing these songs about just feeling free and being out on the ocean. And I'm just like terrified, But I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
I mean, there's all kind of sailing. There's coastal cruising. There's transatlantic passages. I'm not a big fan of crossing oceans myself. It's nothing much to see out there but water.
Yeah.
But I sail on the BVIs a lot, and the BVIs is like sailing in a lake. It's like half the time.
British Virgin Islands. Yeah.
You go, I'm going to go there. You see the next time and you go there and you go to happy hour. And that's what it is all about in the BVI.
Yeah.
And that's safe, fun. If you ever want to experience sailing at its finest, as far as like safety and, ease of sailing, BVI is the best.
All right, cool. I've never been to the British Virgin Islands. When I was young, when I was a kid, we went to St. Croix a couple times, and we went over to Buck Island. I don't know if you've ever been around that. It's a underwater park, beautiful, incredible snorkeling. And I was 6 years old the first time I went there, and they put me in a glass bottom boat. And I think I had like a glass bottom bucket. I got to like cruise around looking through the bottom of the boat and like being as happy as a little clam. So that's about my speed. Glass bottom boats, snorkeling. So I'm feeling you. I'm gonna take a page out of your book and take your advice. And next time I have the opportunity, I'm gonna go to British Virgin Islands. That sounds awesome.
I do flotillas out there. I haven't done one since COVID, but usually once a year I'll rent out. I'm have a deal with Sunsail or Moorings, and I'll basically I'll be on one of the boats, and I'll sell all the cabins around me, and then we'll sell SALE or rent 4 or 5 other boats, and we go together and we float from bar to bar, and I play the shows. It's really fun.
Man, that sounds like a dream. That sounds like a dream. Sounds like the best kind of gig. FYI, Miss Emily Hansen, she was saying she met you in Oakland a number of years ago, and she's got a song request for sometime during the hour. Hula Girl, if you've got it lined up, if you can manage that one.
I think she's must be have some Kahlua in her coffee, because I don't have a song called Hula Girl.
Oh.
I don't know what she's talking about.
All right, Emily, sharpen your pencil out there in Las Vegas.
What's another song that she's thinking of with a different? I have no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah, she's yeah. So work on that one, Emily. We'll get back to you. So we got 25 minutes yet. So putting together, I mean, one of the things that really struck me right away, Eric, and I mentioned this earlier when we were talking in the green room, was that, for a lot of artists, it's really hard to we can get our brains around artistry, inspiration, crafting songs, all that kind of stuff. But then when it comes to really going after the business side of things, it's like that sometimes people aren't, like, a lot of artists aren't necessarily strong in that. And you clearly are. Like, you have an understanding of how to market, what you do. You understand these niches you inhabit. I know I keep using that word because a niche is an awfully small word for a very, very, very big world that you're part of. But one of the things that you brought up was that you have in the last year, even less than the last year, you've gotten involved with licensing and syncs. And maybe you could talk a little bit about what that is and how you've approached that.
Yeah, as I was saying, I had a song, actually, and I can play that one too for you if you want. It's I wrote it a little bit after I think I wrote Lost Soul, and it's Bob Bitchin, the same guy we were talking about before. He started a TV show called Latitudes and Attitudes, which was basically the sailing magazine on TV. Guests and cruisers from around the world telling their stories. It was a great show. And he said, "Can you write me a theme song?" And I said, "Sure." And so I wrote a theme song called Latitudes and Attitudes, and it came out exactly the way you wanted it. And they ended up using all my music in the show all the time, a lot of bumpers and, just instrumentals and some vocal stuff. And it was like I stumbled into that, not realizing that was a whole industry. Sync placement is an entire industry in itself in the music business, like a separate. And, being a sync person, sync placement, there's all kinds of ways you can do it. There's people that chase the latest fad, the pop, what's hot in pop, who's looking, because you get these requests for these songs from TV shows and movies and stuff like that. And people are chasing these songs, and that's not my style personally, because I can't be somebody I'm not, and I can't be a hip hop artist and try to do this, unique style of songs. So I just write from the heart, and I've gotten lucky. I just had 2 songs placed in a movie. And if you write good music and you stay true to yourself, I think you have a room. No, I don't think. I know you have a place in sync. You may not be getting all the commercials for, AT&T or whatever, or Coke, because it's not hip hoppy, and that's the big thing right now, or pop. But there's so many shows that have country, island. I write singer-songwriter style, just acoustic, and so there's room for all of that stuff. There's so much. Yeah.
I want to pull out one thing that you said there, which was if you're just something to the effect of, if you're true to yourself and write what you write. I mean, you said it better than that, but to just trust that.
Right, because when I first got involved, I took a course called six-figure songwriter course, 6FS, and I made a ton of great friends and contacts there, and I still talk with them every day, and we share, songs that people are looking for, and we collaborate all the time, which is amazing. That's really the funnest part. But at first, I got kind of depressed in the courses. I'm like, they're not using any country, and they're all all the songs that they were making us listen to, and all the stuff that they were pitching, it was mostly for commercials. It was like nothing like anything I do. And I'm like, this is not for me. I'm like, why did I do this? And I just kept going. And then some guy was a guest on there, and he says, he likes artists that are themselves. that are true to themselves. And I'm like, well, that's me. I'm just going to keep doing what I do. And there's room for it in there somewhere. And I have had some placements. I'm not going to be on every commercial, but I'm going to get in some movies, and I'm going to get some commercials over time. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just love what you're saying, because I think, one of the things I know that it's a struggle for me, and I think also is true for a lot of artists, is that if there's this weird sort of thing of like, if we're actually pursuing making a living, somehow we're not being true to our art. And what you're saying is figure out who you are, right? Like that, whatever, it can evolve over time, but just be who you are, and pursue these business opportunities, and, avail yourself of of like courses like the one you described. It's like, there's people that make their entire livings. They never even get on a stage. Like we were talking about this earlier. There's people whose whole world is writing for sync placement in movies and television. And it's a whole business. Yeah.
And there's a lot of them that don't really sing. I know guys that are in there that only write lyrics, but they collaborate with great singers and great top liners. And, if you get with the right people and you're all working as a team, you're going to get some songs played. I'd rather have 25% of a cut than 100% of nothing, Yeah. So, don't be afraid to share your songs. There's certain songs that I wrote that I won't share. I mean, there's no need to, because I've already done it. But I don't go into any song anymore and go, I'm writing this song by myself.
Yeah.
I just collaborated with several people, and there were songs that I really wanted to write and cut myself. But I said, you know what? I'm going to give them the second verse, and I'm going to see what comes out of this.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you're partners. So you're not going to take it back for your own, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, great. That's just such solid philosophy right there, Eric. I'm just going to say it. Thank you. Thank you.
You remember, you don't have to be an artist and a business. You can be both an artist and a business person. People think, oh, you get in sync. Oh, I can't be an artist anymore. And I felt like that at the beginning too. Yeah. And they're like, there's people out there that are in all the music supervisors that want artists. They want people that are really legitimately writing songs from the heart. And it comes through, because I can write a song about a freaking cell phone or whatever, and I can do that. But I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. And what you're saying is you don't have to. It's like using that creative, all that creativity to also sort of be like, okay, so let me connect with some people and say, okay, so this is who I am. Let me get creative about how I'm putting myself out there. So I just love what you're saying. That's just awesome. You can be authentic and successful. And in fact, the authenticity is what people are looking for. And figuring that out is a challenge sometimes. But it can be done.
That's what a lot of music supervisors are looking for, is authenticity. And because you don't get a lot of that with a lot of these sync people that are just creating songs on the fly, chasing them. I'm not chasing anything. I'm not going to do it. It's just not who I am.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, and thank you. Oh my gosh. I wish I could talk to you all day, but I think it's time for another song. Do you want to play that Latitudes and Attitudes song? I would love to hear that. This is the one that made your Bob Bitch and Cry. Is that right?
Yeah. No, the one that made him cry was A Lost Soul.
Okay, that was A Lost Soul. Right. We're already past that stage. We're moving on.
Link up. If you go to YouTube, you can put a link up for the Latitudes and Attitudes TV show.
Okay, we'll go find it while you're singing.
Lots of episodes on there that people want to check out. It's pretty fun TV show. It was on there for 4 years, and
that's great that they're all archived. That's so awesome. Okay, I'll go find it while you're singing.
It's even I still get a check every once in a while. Not enough to pay off my house, but fun little checks.
Hey, I want to give you a couple shout outs before you go. We got Carol Gleaves listening in. Nice to see you here. Diana Griffin Ennis, who's a wonderful lady in the Heartland Song Network. Sync Licensing Webinar was one of our offerings. Heartland Song Network members last year. Was a real eye opener as to the possibilities of opening another revenue stream. Right on, Diana. All right, take it away, Eric. It's all you.
Smooth seas and blue skies, palm trees and sunshine await me in new latitudes. Pirates and treasure, or deal or adventure, the only difference is attitude. So I'll raise my glass, then raise the sails, toast the world from the bow. Say farewell to my landlocked life, throwing in the towel. Wherever my journey takes me, take time to unwind. 'Cause paradise is not a place, it's a state of mind, and my mind is made up. I'm gonna sail away. Latitudes and attitudes will help me find my way with my loving cup. A little salt and a lick of lime. Set my course for adventure, of course on island time. Cruising chicks and sailor dudes all are taking part. 'Cause latitudes and attitudes crept inside their hearts. Sailing yachts, motor tugs, trawlers of all kinds are out to see what they can see on oceans far and wide, and my mind is made up. I'm gonna sail away. Latitudes and attitudes help me find my way with my loving cup. A little salt and a lick of lime. Set my course for adventure, course on island time. The ocean is my highway, on the seas I ride, trading in my Harley for a boat and changing tides, and my mind is made up. I'm gonna sail away. Latitudes and attitudes help me find my way with my loving cup. A little salt and a lick of lime. Set my course for adventure, course on island time. Set my course for adventure, course on island time.
Yeah. Right.
Kept it.
I feel awesome now.
Hey, I want to send a shout out to my producer if I can.
Yeah.
My producer,
Let's do it.
he's got a studio called Direct Image Studios. So if you check out Direct Image, I think it's directimage.com or directimagestudios.com. You can find him. It's Kenny Royster. He's an Emmy award-winning producer. He's produced all 15 of my albums and the 16th.
Oh my God.
And
that's a testimony right now. A shout out to him. Shout out to him.
Coach, if you want to take your career to the next level and you got a song, you want to bring it to life, and it's not a plug because I don't make any money on this. I just am a big, big fan of Kenny Royster and what he can do with your vocals, with your band. Some of the best players in the world are in your tracks. You know, John Conley, who's Kenny Chesney's live guitarist, is in the studio every time. And I mean, I can go on and on. They're all top notch. Really,
awesome.
really.
And again, Kenny Royster, Royster. Is that right?
Yep.
And what's the name of his studio again?
It's Direct Image Studios.
I'm just going to put this up here so people can check it out. That's a great testimony, to work with somebody. I mean, I've been blessed with a couple of great producers, and I would work with either of them again in a heartbeat, and I'm going to. But to find somebody who can really move your work forward in a way that feels right, and is in line with your own values and goals and stuff, Yeah.
I mean, several of my musician friends who are cutting tracks all over the country have moved over to Direct Image because it's incredibly affordable for the quality. You're getting Nashville, radio quality songs for a price that's really, really good.
Right. So he's got the nice high quality price point ratio, it sounds like, and that's essential. I mean, obviously if you've made a bazillion records with him, that's going to be that's going to have to be true. Yeah.
all his money back in the studio. You know, every time I turn around on Facebook, he's got some new mic or new plug-in or new hardware. You know, these new guitars. He just bought another SG guitar, and he's got like 25 guitars in there now.
Right
So
on.
he
Oh,
doesn't
that's
just
awesome.
earn his money. He puts it back into the business. You know?
And so his studio's in Nashville. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what time of year do you make your records?
Well, I used to go in there, and there was really no set time of year, but I used to go in there, and you know, it was fun when I did it back then. I haven't done it in a while, because life got crazy and weird. But I used to go in there, and I'd wear my Hawaiian shirt because I'm doing this tropical thing, you know. And all the studio guys, they all knew I was coming, and they'd all put on the Hawaiian shirts, and it was a lot of fun to be in the sessions, you know, because you cut 12 tracks in one day. That's band tracks, you know, not the vocals and all that stuff, but you do a scratch vocal, and within about 3 or 4 days, you have a full record, right? Done, mastered and everything. But nowadays, I will send Kenny a guitar vocal recording, just mail, because I can't afford to go to Nashville and spend a week or two when I got so much other stuff going on.
Right.
So I'm writing one song at a time, and I'll watch it on Zoom, you know, and he'll sing. He usually sings the scratch vocal for me because he learns it from me, and then, you know, I'll go back and either I'll record it on my DAW, the vocals, or I'll go into Nashville and I'll use his, you know, crazy $12,000 mics. But I just did 5 songs about a month and a half ago for my new album, and I did them. I was going to do them here, but he's such a great vocal coach. It's like I can't get what I want out of here without him saying, "Hey, that note was blue. That was a blue note.
Right.
That's not the right note."
Right. Right.
You know, so put enough emotion in this, you know. Quit saying your R's like R, you know, whatever it is, you know. He's just like, he got it. He got it.
Yeah. Yeah. And he knows you so well, and you have a rapport, and that's like, you know, being able to build something like that over many albums is a really incredible thing to have. And I love what you were saying. You know, a lot of people right now are doing like some kind of different deal with recording, or they're asking themselves like, oh my God. Okay. So, Spotify happened. So CDs kind of went out of fashion for a little while. Now they're kind of coming back because people are missing that, and vinyl's coming back. And so, you know, we were talking about this a little bit in the green room. You're approaching your next releases, a little bit differently. Maybe you could share a minute about that.
Yeah. Well, you know, I cut 15 albums in Nashville, and I always launched an album as an album. Boom, you know. And I usually did a pre-sale, and I would sell usually about 300 prior to the actual release. So I do a pre-order and at $20 a pop, that pays for a good chunk of the studio. You know, it's great to get that back because, you know, you drop between 75 and whatever you want to spend. You can spend as much as you want in there, 15 grand or whatever. But and so I'd never ever in my life did a single. I didn't know that independent artists could do singles. And then I met somebody that told me, and that's all they do is singles. And I'm like, what the hell? So I just said, I did some research on it, and I found out launching strategies. You know, I mean, you don't make much money on Spotify. Everybody's all Spotify this, Spotify that. No, you make a lot more money on Amazon and Apple Music. That's just a fact. It's sad. I wish it wasn't that way, but it is.
Yeah.
Spotify is the go-to play. Everybody wants to be on Spotify. So I launched my singles through DistroKid, which they do everything for you, but you know, you do your own marketing basically.
Yeah.
But DistroKid gets it everywhere, and they sets a date. It does a pre-order or pre-listen, I guess they call it, and then boom, it goes live, and then it just everywhere at once. And you know, people have gotten number ones doing that. I mean, I haven't got a number one, but I've definitely got some spikes, some crazy, you know, 25,000 listeners in a day and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's DistroKid.
DistroKid, yeah. And
DistroKid, yeah.
They're not the only game in town. You know, I would do DistroKid if you're going to launch a single every once in a while.
Yeah.
Not, you know, like every single.
Right. So if you're like doing a single a month and you've got kind of a strategy and a plan, like you would do it differently than that. Yeah.
What happens is with DistroKid, you have to pay every year. So it's like $12 to launch it. So every year you got to pay 12. Well, if you're doing 100 singles, that every January you're like, ooh. So if you do them through CD Baby, it's an eternal thing. It's one time, but you pay more up front.
Right.
So that you got to look at how you're going to do it. Are you going to launch a ton of singles or just a few singles?
Right. Right.
Keep them in the charts. Or you're going to let them go and then launch.
Right.
It just depends on what your what you want to do.
Yeah. Well, this is, if people are just joining us, welcome to Postcards. We're talking to Eric Stone, and we're talking like some of the really finer points of putting music out there as independent musicians. Whether you're newer at this or you've been doing this for 16 records, the landscape is shifting. And I think that's one of the things that, is exciting and extremely challenging right now, is that, we can't be formulaic about how we're releasing music, but we have to be to a certain extent, because otherwise we can't make a plan and do it, So like trying to follow the moving target, but then be like, okay, snapshot. All right. This is how I'm going to do this one, or these, for the next 6 months or a year, this is how I'm going to release music. So I really appreciate you sharing that wisdom with us, because it's an important part of self-care. I hate to bring it down to that in a way, but it's like, from taking care of business, taking care of the bottom line, and making sure that we can keep the lights on is a fundamentally important part of being alive. So I appreciate you sharing.
There's so many avenues and revenue streams out there for musicians now. A lot of people aren't live players, like you said. I'm a live player, and I always will be. That's the best part for me. But there's artists that don't ever play live, and they still make a living through streaming and whatever. And there's just so many, and I don't know all of it. But I know quite a bit of it. And if you don't change with the times, you're going to fall behind.
Yeah, true.
I don't like to think old school. I don't like to say, oh, I'm never going to do this. And no, you gotta be able to bend.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Well, Eric, we're coming to the end of our hour, and I'm wondering if you'd be willing to take us out with one more song.
Yes. And I'm so ill prepared. What am I going to do? Let me think.
I'm going to do a little housekeeping while you're thinking about that. Okay. Take your time. We're going to just do a little housekeeping. If you just joined, if you've been listening this hour, we've been listening to Eric Stone. I want to call attention to one thing, which is that if you want to keep in touch with him and figure out where he is and what he's doing, this is what I just joined, the Eric Stone fan club on Facebook, 40,000 members plus, and you, facebook.com/Eric Stone Music. And is there anywhere that's probably the first go-to, because I noticed you post on there regularly, so people will be keeping
there. My friends, my friend page or my profile is pretty full. I think I'm maxed out, or I have room for 10 people. I don't know.
I'll be sending you that friend request to put in the list of 500 people who are waiting at the door.
It's just around 5,000, but it drops off. People get off of Facebook. Somebody says something I don't like, and I'll block them. But
yeah, the truth. Sorry.
I just think you got to be honest. If somebody doesn't fit your belief system and they're ugly, I don't want them in my life. Simple as that.
Yeah, I feel you. Well, Eric, you're just a gem. I'm so happy. I want to say a shout out to Emily Hansen from Magnolia Roads, who has once again brought to Postcards an absolutely wonderful human being. And I'm so psyched to get to know you a little bit. Good luck with new recordings, your new novel. Everybody hop on over to Amazon, check out Eric Stone's novels. They're also on Audible, read to great effect. And you can just drive around in your gloomy winter world and listen to a novel by Eric Stone. So, so maybe you can give us a quick background on this one and take us out with the song.
Before I say that, I want to do a gratuitous plug. My third novel is Raging Waters. So they're all Rick Waters. It's in the Rick Waters series. And Raging Waters, it takes place in the Amazon with the waterfalls and all that crazy stuff, in whitewater. It's on pre-order right now to December 10th on Kindle. So if you guys are out there, please go pre-order. It's only $2.95, I believe, something $2.99.
Awesome.
For the Kindle. And it really helps to get number one. I hit number one with my first two books, and if I have a big pre-order, I'll hit number one again. So
congrats. That would be awesome. And hey, Emily Hansen, thank you for this reminder. Holiday Hoedown, Magnolia Roads Hoedown, Holiday Hoedown's happening Sunday. It's going to be starting at 4:00 on Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be live on Facebook, Magnolia Roads Facebook page. And Eric, you are in that. Is that right?
Yeah, I did one.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again, Eric. I'm just going to let it go out with the song. Thanks everybody for being here. Love you guys. I'll see you all Monday. And please, let's give our dear new friend, Eric Stone, our full attention.
All right, cool. So this next song it's kind of a fun, good way to go out. It's a song I wrote when I lived on the British Virgin Islands. I lived there for 7 years, and I worked at Pusher's Marina Key. And we used to go to this place called the Bat Cave. It was just this really, really cold bar that didn't belong in the Caribbean. It was really weird. You go in there, and they were, full-size Joker and Batman and Robin. They were all in the corner. They were all placed around this whole building, and it was dark in there, and it was really fun. And the bartenders were crazy and making drinks with Skittles in them and all kind of stuff. And I just wrote this song called, I was on my buddy's boat, and all of a sudden we said we were going to go to the Bat Cave, and one of the people on the boat said, "Quick, let's go to the Bat Cave," or "Quick to the Bat Cave." That's what it was. And so I wrote this little tune called "Quick to the Bat Cave." We sailed into Road Town, from the key. Kick bass and kick some rum, like we always do. Acting crazy on a lazy afternoon. We decided Spaghetti Junction is what we all crave. And goes on pasta, rum, and wine, not an ounce was saved. And Cheryl said it, so we headed to the cave. Quick to the Bat Cave, coolest bar in town. Quick to the Bat Cave, never let you down. The bartender's never wrong. He mixes drinks and makes them strong. Once you've been there, you'll fit in there and belong. The Bat Cave is very cold, a nice break from the heat. Batman would fit right in, the Joker would compete. If you stay there, you can stay there, it's a treat. Quick to the Bat Cave, get out of the heat. Quick to the Bat Cave, drinks or candy beat. Grab a cab from Road Town Square, $5 or $6 will get you there. It's a scary sanctuary, don't be scared. Quick to the Bat Cave, coolest bar in town. Quick to the Bat Cave, never let you down. Bartender's never wrong. He mixes drinks and makes them strong. Once you've been there, you'll fit in there and belong. Quick to the Bat Cave, get out of the heat. Quick to the Bat Cave, drinks or candy beat. Grab a cab from Road Town Square, $5 or $6 will get you there. It's a scary sanctuary, don't be scared. It's a scary sanctuary, don't be scared. Bat Cave.
Bat Cave, right on. Thank you so much, Eric Stone. Thanks everybody for joining us this morning. It has just been an absolutely fantastic time. Thank you so much for being here on Postcards, Eric. I wish you all the best as you are cruising wherever you're cruising next. And don't forget to pre-order on Amazon Eric's new novel. I put some links in the comments, and lots of love, everybody. And we'll see you on Monday.
Thank you. Bye.